In this video, I will show you how to use Paint to sketch. So some of the assignments that you will have for this course are actually sketching assignments. And anytime you have that, I try to include two different files. One of them is a PDF file, and the other file is a JPEG. Now with Paint, and whenever I say Paint is an app that comes with every computer, and when I use Paint, I have to use an image file, not a PDF. A PDF, I include the PDF just in case you want to print it and actually sketch with an actual pencil. Take a picture of it, send it to yourself, or load it into your computer, and then submit the assignments that way. So, but in this case, we're going to use Paint. Therefore, what you need to do first is make sure that you download the original files. Once they are downloaded, you can click on Show in Folder, and it will show up where it actually has saved it. Mine saves everything and downloads, so I just have to kind of remember that this file is under downloads. I'm gonna leave that kind of open for a little bit, and then on my search I will just search Paint. It's right there and you click on it. Another thing that I do, because I use Paint so much, what you can do is before you click on it, you right click and then you pin it to the taskbar. Of course, mine says unpin because mine is already pinned there. And that way you don't have to run the search all the time because it will be already inserted there. That's how I have all of these things pinned to my taskbar, so I don't have to look them up afterwards. So, okay, so once Paint is open, I can go and try to open that file that I downloaded. And I do remember that it was under downloads. So I'm going to click on that. And the first thing that pops in, because it registers or it remembers what you did last. And so the instructional aid page is what I did last, and I'm going to open it. Okay. So here is the first sheet. Now, whenever I'm here, I can go ahead and start drawing on it. Notice that this is called a ribbon, and in the ribbon I have many different options. For this particular one, I have different sections or areas where I want to draw. I'm just going to change the color so that you can see it, but you can definitely paint with any particular color or black or whatever the case is. So let's say I needed to complete this assignment. Okay, so what I'm going to do is use the line command. Now there are different sizes and you need to play with the sizes just to see what kind of lines or how thick your lines will be. If you want something a little darker, it will give you those darker lines there. Notice that whenever you draw a line, you will see that it has the little two dots at the ends of the line. That means that I can move that line. As long as I don't click anywhere else, I have the capabilities to edit that line. Once I click outside, I just clicked over here and clicked outside. Now that line, I can't adjust it or move it or anything else anymore. If, let's say, I decided that, hey, I made a mistake, I do want to get rid of that line, I can just go to select, and this is just a box. I can make a box. Now with that box, notice that my cursor now turns into these four little arrows, and that's your move arrow, so that I can move that anywhere I want to. Notice too though that whatever I move will actually block anything that is underneath those lines. So this is an image that has a background on it. Once I click outside of that, then it's permanent. I cannot click on it again and move it. I can go back, I can undo, and this is the undo button here. And so that way it brings it back to the original spot. With this, I can also select and just press delete on my keyboard and it will actually delete that. So let's say I will draw visible lines and then this line in the middle is a hidden line. So this is how I would actually complete number 7 for this sheet. Notice that it says it's 6 units this way. So what I would do is I could also do any drawings with a pencil, but if I want straight lines, I'm just going to use the line command. And I'm going to use red so that you can see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to use this line because I think that that's thick enough for this application. So starting from here, it gives me a little starting point, and from there I'm going to go 6 this way. So 6 units, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, once I click right here, notice that there's 2 little marks, and I can adjust this line still as long as those 2 marks are still there. Once I'm done with that line, I can click somewhere else. If I don't click somewhere else and try to draw another line starting here, it will actually just move my original line. I have to click outside first so that it leaves that line alone and I can continue with my other line. So from there to there, I have 4 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I can also just leave that alone and do 4 on this side. And that's what I do a lot of the times. You will see more and more when I explain these things how I use the software. As we go along with more videos, you will learn how I use Paint. And so that completes my rectangle. This rectangle has some hidden lines because there is a cutout in the back. And notice that it's 3 units, so it's down the middle. So I will still use this line command. And then because this is a hidden line, I'm going to use a thinner line. Remember, hidden lines are thinner than visible lines. I'm going to try to make this as straight as possible. There's my little tags here to be able to move it around, and when I'm satisfied, I'm going to leave it alone. Now this is a hidden line. To create the dashes, I'm just going to come back to my eraser and just erase certain sections of my line, and that's how I end up doing that. You can use circular shapes, for example, for this circle. Let's say I just go to the circle command. If I want to draw the circle, I'm just going to go on top of that. And notice that there's some grips. These are called little grips. I can make that circle bigger and smaller as long as I don't click out. If I click out, then I cannot select that circle anymore. I can just go back and undo and start all over. So because that circle is going to be a visible line, I go back to my original thickness and then draw that circle here. I can move it once those 3 or 4 arrows are displayed. I can move it, and notice that my circle is a little bit too big, but I'm just going to place one of my grips on the line itself, make it where it sits on the edge of that circle, and then now I can move this circle anywhere I want to. I'm going to move it here, and move it there. And once I'm satisfied with what I have, then I can go back and click outside somewhere and notice that the circle is complete. If it was like a semicircle or anything like that, I could come back and erase that part. Notice that the eraser erases the original lines too, and that's fine. If you need it to do that, then that's fine. I don't take points off for any of the grid, that goes off So in this case, for example, that I just have a little arc, I don't have an arc option here, so I would definitely use the circle command if I want that to be kind of neat. Or I could also use the pencil. The pencil, I just have to be really careful to follow this line and that line is a little bit too thin. Let's see if I can draw this one more time. Okay. And there would be part of that. But for arcs like that, I still like to use the circle command. I just do something like this. Make sure that the circle is like the same size as the arc. And then I come back and erase part of it. Okay. And then from there, I would continue with my line however I need to continue with it to make that tangent there. Okay, you can play with any of these other options you have here, but that's basically, I think, all that you will need, basically using the line, circle, sometimes rectangle, depending on what it is that you're drawing. I think that you get the idea there on how we actually use this software. Now you will see also that I use some of these paint brushes and things of that nature, but for purposes of you turning in assignments, I think that all you would need is basically the circle command, maybe the curve command. I've actually never used this. So uh, what I did with this is I drew a line, and then after that, you come in the middle and adjust it. I just pick it and hold down my mouse button, and see how it kind of creates that curve. That's kind of neat. I don't use that obviously, but you're more than welcome to kind of play with any of these to see what else you can do with them. After you are done with your assignment, you can go ahead and do save as, and then save it into a folder. I would create a folder just for this class, name it correctly so that you know how to retrieve it afterwards. So for this particular assignment, there were, let me see how many sheets. 1, 2, and 3 sheets. So you would download each one of these individually, do the assignments, and then when you get ready to submit, then you have to upload them, choose them, and go from there.